Hello everyone. So again, I'm posting early. I'm sorry, but my husband ended up having to go in to do some work today. So my babe's gonna be waking up here soon, and I wanted to make sure that you guys would get all my attention without being distracted by him. So here is me in full force without baby distraction. And today we're talking about goal setting. This is like one of my favorite topics, if you didn't already know. My husband and I started setting intentional goals probably about 4 years ago. And it's been a journey. We definitely aren't succeeding all the time at our goals, but we're also seeing progress. And so something I wanted to talk about today is just what it really looks like to succeed at your goals. There are so many posts nowadays about goal setting, whether it's like traditional goal setting, or I've read even some like podcast titles of like ungoal yourself, and just funny things, because I think there's just like this just big confusion, or maybe a lot of different opinions around the idea of resolutions and goals, and everybody feels like they've tried and then they just fail and all these things. And so today I just wanted to talk about some like basics of how we set goals, and encourage you to spend some time just processing through what that looks like for yourself. So of course, first starting with like a small goal can make it a lot more attainable. But really, I think all of you guys on here, you obviously have goals. Otherwise, you wouldn't have wanted to be in this group. You're being intentional in your health and you're going after it. It's very clear in the group, and it's so exciting to see that. Like all of you guys posting the things that you've done, the changes that you've done. All of you that have posted like different great quotes has been so fun to read. I think Anna had posted a quote that talked about celebrating your progress. Hey, Megan! Anyways, it's so fun to see you guys all posting, and I think what she had posted, it's so true, and I'm going to talk about that more today. But really, I think the thing that I want you guys to hone in on, and I'll talk more about this in the realm of our challenge, is when you're setting goals, or when you're thinking about desires that you have for your life, I think is a great way to put it. What is it that you want, and why do you want it? Like, what's the feeling that you're going after? So I'm going to use a lot of different examples of like health related examples. So say like this is like a common one in the new year. I'm not saying this is your goal maybe, but say your goal is that you want to lose weight. Really, what is it, the feeling, or what feeling is it that you're going after and wanting to lose weight? Is it that you see all these other women that are at a certain weight and they appear to be happy? They appear to be confident in their skin, and they appear to really like love themselves. Like, is that the feeling that you are wanting? Or what's the feeling that you want from reaching a certain level in your health? And really honing in on that and just listening to that, because I think part of the journey of setting appropriate goals is being able to acknowledge, number one, why you want it, and then number two, what success looks like. And also being able to create that success and that momentum during the process. And so for me, I'll just say that it was probably like 5 years ago, I had gained around 20 pounds. And I had no idea why, and now I've learned more of the reasons why, and I've been able to do specific things to see changes and results. But along the way, what I think I've learned that's been so much more valuable is to learn to ultimately love myself and feel beautiful in the body that I'm already in, be able to just celebrate all the things that my body is able to do. And we kind of talked about this on my gratitude Facebook Live too, just being able to be grateful for where you're at and celebrating that, because that's going to enable you to create that momentum you need to get where you want to go. And so I think when we're setting goals, number one, like I said, figuring out like what's the feeling that you're wanting when you reach that goal, and then being able to go after that goal from a place of security and hopefulness, instead of like insecurity and a feeling of lack. because that feeling of lack is going to pull you back, and it's going to cause a lot of resistance as you go towards your goal. Another example in this, and I'll talk about it a little bit more later, is like if, say you have a financial goal, and you keep telling yourself that you want to get out of debt. And I don't know if you're like me, but like that word debt, it's just like, it's not a good word. It's like a heavy word. It feels oppressive. It feels like chains pulling you back. Like, it's just not a good word. And like a goal set in that way can make you feel more feelings of like insecurity in your finances. I want to get out of debt versus I want to be free. I want to be financially free. Creating a goal like that, and being able to associate that feeling of where you want to go, and having even security in the steps that you've taken already, and feeling these small steps of success along the way can be so helpful. So anyways, a few more things on that are, when you're setting your goals, not doing it from a place of comparison, because I think being able to figure out what the feeling is that you're going after in the goal, I know I'm kind of overcomplicating it, but really I'm telling you, if you take the time to like dig through your goals and figure out the feeling that you're going to go after, you're going to learn a lot in the process, and it's going to help you be more successful. But when we're looking at other people and we're desiring something that they have, maybe a little bit of these feelings of jealousy, we can like listen to that and be able to hear what we really want, and then be able to flip it and create our goals in a way that serves us and serves our lives, because our lives are going to be so much different than those people that we're seeing on social media, or maybe friends or family of ours. Just going along those lines, one of my goals for this year was to cultivate joy in the season that we're in, because I kept experiencing just these feelings of like, if only I was there. And that feeling would keep coming back. It wasn't ever this place that I arrived. It was always this like, I can't be happy right now because I haven't done this, and this, and this. But when I do this, and this, and this, then I'll be happy. And those, like, I never was arriving. And so I actually, I should flip my screen. I have a print posted here that one of my friends had made for me. And it says, enjoy the journey. And I love that. It's actually one of my goals for this year, is to learn to cultivate joy in the journey for myself as I go. And I mean, you can see just some of these other encouraging things that I have posted around here. Stuff that inspires me both in my business life and my family life. And this isn't completed. I need to post more things up here, but this enjoy the journey has just meant a lot to me. So anyways, like I said, cultivating joy. So an example of something that I did this year, because I wanted to learn to cultivate joy more and where we're at, is that I wasn't enjoying my mornings. Like, I was getting frustrated with my baby Elliot, and even though it's been such a gift to be able to be home with him, doTERRA has been such a blessing to us in that way. Every morning I was just sensing this dread every time Elliot would wake up, and I was like, why is it this way? I love him so much. Why am I experiencing this dread? And so I started to really hone in on that and like listen to what was going on in our life circumstances, instead of comparing myself to other mothers that I saw and looking at the joy that I saw in them and like trying to like do more to get there. Instead, I started to listen to where I was at, and started processing through what would it look like for me to create a routine in the morning that would help me to experience joy right now in our season, right where we're at. And it's been such a blessing, guys. Like, I love our mornings now. I make sure to get up in the morning to do the things that make me feel at peace about my day. So meaning, like, for me, it's time in the Word and a lot of times a workout before Elliot gets in. If I get those two things in, it makes me feel like a sense of accomplishment for the day before he wakes up. So Tyler and I even had conversations revolving around, if Elliot wakes up early, who's going to take him, and how do we each get the things in our morning that will make us both feel peace. And this has not been a like process of perfection. We've had a lot of adjustment in our life with transition, and we're still figuring out, but it's been great to at least start approaching it for yeah, just seeing more success in our morning routines and feeling peace before he wakes up. So then when he wakes up, we turn on worship music and we turn on our diffuser every day. And those two things have like revolutionized our mornings. Like our family has so much fun every morning. Elliot loves worship music, so he's like dancing and we're all dancing together and just having like these fun memories in the morning. Tyler oftentimes will make breakfast for Elliot and make some coffee for us to share, organic coffee, and I make some bulletproof. And anyways, it's just been a perfect little routine for us. And so I encourage you, like when you're thinking about your goals, start thinking even in those terms. Like if you see something that you really want, you know the feeling that you're going after, then maybe knowing that feeling can help you kind of recalibrate what your goal really is. Is the goal that you originally set really what you want, or is it you see somebody else that has that and they're happy, so that's what you want? So yeah, it is so simple. So anyways, I hope that helps. Hopefully not too complicated, but anyways, again, I just want to acknowledge the obvious that we all have goals, whether we call them goals or resolutions or whatever it is. We all have desires that we're going after in our life. And so really being able to pinpoint them and do some of what I go through next is going to be so helpful for you in 2017. So this is just a little acronym to give you, MTO. So if you're taking notes, you can write it down. Or if somebody wants to post this in the comments, that would be great. But MTO stands for Minimum Target Outrageous. And this is something that just helps us to kind of keep in check with where we're at. And so the minimum, let's give an example in health. A minimum could be, I want to work out a minimum of 3 times per week. Our target is maybe I want to work out 4 times a week. And an outrageous goal would be that I want to work out 5+ times a week. So this kind of gives us a place of reference. So for me, I have started to check in, not with all my goals, but check in with my schedule for the week. Thanks, Stacy. Check in for my schedule for the week and what I all have planned, and then I'm able to kind of key in how I'm going to focus or get those like little steps in my week that help me go towards my goal. And so, like for instance, with working out, that is literally one of my goals. And so I have a minimum of working out 3 times a week. My target would be 4 times a week, and outrageous would be 5 or 6 times a week. And that's right now what's realistic for me. So I think finding ways to incorporate those little measurable things that you can check in with each week is really, really important. And if you have somebody that's like a great accountability partner for you, or somebody else that is like wanting to walk with you in this, it can be really helpful. So Tyler and I, we're not necessarily accountability partners for each other, but we do spend at least 10 minutes every week checking in with each other on our schedules. And that little step has been accountability enough for me that creates this necessity. I have to communicate to him what I need to get done in the next week. So when I have to communicate to him, that requires me to sit down, look at my schedule, and process through what I'm doing for the week. And then I'm like incorporating all those things during the week that I need to get done to work towards my goals. And so that little step has helped us so much in really like having that checkpoint each weekend when we're together, where we can talk through what we have in the week ahead of us. And it allows us both that accountability to process through when we're going to do the stuff that we need to do to go after goals and things that we're intentionally pursuing in this season of our life. So again, in this minimum target outrageous process, this allows us to stay checked in with our goals, and it also helps us to see that it's all about the progress. It's not about perfection, right? Like if you're hitting your minimum, you're still going after your goals. There's a quote that I had heard, and I forget who it's by, but it says, you can never learn less. You can never learn less. And I love that because it kind of like just hits the nail on the head as far as like, you're like, when you're being intentional in doing that checkpoint, you're always making progress forward, you know? Like, it's never this like failure thing. It's not like, oh, I sucked at my resolution for this year and I didn't accomplish my goals. It's like, no, I made great progress. Like, even if you did your minimum every week, you still did progress. So a few other main steps in the goal setting process that have been helpful for me are, one, making them clear and specific. Meaning, say you write out your goals, if somebody else read those goals, would they know what you actually want? I'm trying to think of an example. So like, say I used to work at a chiropractic office, and I remember hearing so many times from patients, I think they just didn't want to be honest with me with what their goals really were, but I would ask them like what their goals were and their health, and they would say, oh, I want to be healthier this year. And I remember just thinking like, what do you mean? Like, what do you even want? Like, I don't know what that means. Like, I know what it means to be healthy, but what does that look like for you? Like, it's not clear and specific. It doesn't give you like any form of measurable, like, oh, when I do this, I'll be succeeding. I'll be making progress, you know? And so when you're setting goals, make sure everything you set, even if you set one goal for 2007, just one area you want to be intentional in, how can it be clear and specific? And then two, how can it be measurable? So say it's, this again is a common goal. I'm trying to use health goals, but like people will say, I want to lose this amount of weight. Well, first of all, I would rephrase that because of my fourth point, but I'll come back to that. I would say something like, I want to be fit and lean at 150 pounds. And that's clear and specific, it's measurable. So then like setting little steps that help you move towards your outcome, that's actually a point that I'm coming up to. But three, establishing your why. Why do you want to create this as a goal? We talked about this already, but it's really important to focus in on that because it helps you just establish a deeper connection to your goal. So for example, again, when I used to work at this office, people would oftentimes tell me they had weight loss goals at the beginning of the year. And I think that's a very common goal, and people will say that because they want to say fit into a different jean size, or they want to look good in their bikini, or whatever, all these things. And really, those things are not a big enough why. Like, if for myself personally, when I was getting ready to go to Cancun, if I just think about like fitting into a bikini, like, and then I see something that is a vice for me and that I love, I'm trying to think of something like a bunch of chocolate or something like that, I'll just give in, especially if I'm stressed, I'll just give in. But if I think about losing weight as an indicator of my health, and my health being important and vital for me, being able to be the mom that I want to be, and being able to have energy each day to do the things I love, and being able to live out my potential, cheesecake, that's my vice. Thanks, honey. Thanks. If I think about wanting to lose weight for those purposes, so I can like really live out my purpose, and even like if I think about like taking it 10 steps further, like when I'm a grandma someday, being able to move around and have fun with my grandkids and not be sick like my grandparents have been, like that gets my heart like connected into it. And the more I can focus in on that each week, the more I am motivated to go after my goals. So knowing your why and getting that why established really deep in a way that like when you verbally articulate it, it makes you get passionate. It makes you, yes, it's so important. But anyways, it just like, it gets you fired up and motivated. Whereas if it's just something simple and surfacey, like I want to fit in my jeans, like, let's be honest, not going to be successful for me anyways, most of the time. That doesn't motivate me enough. Four, I mentioned this already, but with your goals, you want it to be something that you can move towards the actual outcome. So meaning when you say your goal, you want it to be something that is set from like a positive perspective. So not saying something like, I'm going to cut out sugar. Because when you say I'm going to cut out sugar, What is your head thinking about? Like, you're thinking about sugar and all the things that you are not gonna get to eat that is gonna stink, like cheesecake and ice cream and chocolate. Like, all of these things are going through your brain. Whereas if you're setting a goal and it's like, I wanna eat nourishing food that serves my body and helps me live at a high capacity this year, that's not sugar. Sugar's not included in that list. But you're suddenly focusing on all these like amazing foods that are like natural and beautiful and nourish your body, and you're focusing on the positive end of that goal. So anyways, again, you want your goal to be something that's moving towards your outcome. I kind of said that with the debt analogy, not I want to get out of debt, but instead saying I want to be free to be able to give and free to be able to I don't know, take my family on a vacation this year, or whatever it is, something that's from the positive end of the spectrum. And then number 5, you want to have accountability in your life. And so I shared part of this again with my husband, just a little checkpoint that I have each week with him set up in place. And he's not literally sitting there saying like, Kristen, did you work out the amount that you wanted to work out this week? But for me, that's not what I need, and I don't respond well to that because if I don't hit my goal, then I feel guilt. But when we have that time set up each week where we talk about what we're gonna each be doing the next week, that allows me the space during Elliot's nap to process through when I'm gonna fit in those steps that help me reach my goal. And so maybe you're at a different point and you literally need a friend to come alongside of you and check in with how everything's going and supporting you along the way. If that's you, that's great. Like, get that then. So that takes us to our challenge this week. I want you to post in the comments. This will take some processing and maybe talking to some friends if you want to participate in this challenge. I want you to post a goal that you have in 2017. Obviously, our whole challenge is around health goals, so if you want to focus in on that, it's great. If you really feel like you need to focus in on another area, you can definitely post that below. But post one goal and then post the feeling that you want, like, to come when you're succeeding at that goal. So like when you're like, I don't know, there's so many examples. You know what I'm talking about from the beginning of our video, but what's the feeling that you're gonna feel when you reach that goal? What's the feeling that you're going after? And then number 3, who's your accountability partner? And I would love it if you would literally tag them in the comments if they're a part of this group, or maybe you want to add them to this group so they can join us for week 2. Or maybe if you're already on our doTERRA team, you want Laura, Londa, Melissa, there's lots of other leaders that we have on this page, Megan, Emily, Stacy, so many other people that are on here. So if I want you to like literally talk to that accountability partner, say, will you like help encourage me? Could you do this for me when I'm going after this goal this year? And obviously, like, it can be something as little as like them sending you an encouraging text. And I would literally like tell them something that really does encourage you, like tell them to like copy and paste your why and text it to you each week. Or maybe you plan to have tea together once a month, or coffee, or maybe you set up this accountability partner and you say, this is my goal, and when I hit it, I want us to do this together to celebrate it. I think celebrating our goals and when we succeed them, or even setting goals and celebrating different points of the progress during 2017 is also really, really important. Oh, I love that, Laura. I want a hug. That's no fair. I can't get a hug, but maybe I can via social media. But yeah, okay, so that is so good, creating a sense of community. And so then with any type of a goal like that, what does it look like for you to create success along the way, and how are you going to celebrate it? For me, I actually was using this thing. It's called Cultivating What Matters. It's Power Sheets is what they're called. It's like a very detailed, intensive thing to set out your goals. I've never done something so intense. And I was writing out some of my goals, and one of them was that I wanted to write 3 to 4 encouraging notes to people that I really feel like need encouragement each month. And I wanted to pray about that and then write the note and send it out. And it was so interesting because this book asks all these intense questions like, what does success look like, or what does progress look like along the way? And I was like, I don't know, writing the notes, like that's progress. But then when I started thinking about it, I was like, well, the feeling that I actually want is that I want people to be encouraged, and I want people to like be blessed by my intentionality in writing a note, and I want it to like make their week, or like I want it to be something that's a huge blessing to them. I don't want this to be something I'm just going through the motions to check off the list, right? And so for me, I was like, what does progress look like, or success for me along the way? It looks like somebody responding to me after I send it and literally saying like, Kristen, what you said in that note was so encouraging to me. Like it literally made my week, or blah, 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 blah. That looks like success to me. Like I want to be in tune and trust my intuition, and trust like hearing God's voice and who he's calling me to bless, and I want to act on that. And so that is like my progress. And how am I going to then celebrate that is like, I want to go deeper into it. And like as I'm doing that goal, and say somebody responds to me and shares like how I bless them, then I want to look for another way to bless them. And like, I just want it to like spiral. I want to create more of that positive energy and just others focusedness, if that's a word, in my life. Instead of being consumed every single day by all of my to-do list and the things I want to do. I want to be more in tune with other people's needs and what's going on in their lives, and going out of my way to bless them. So that's just an example of like how I forced myself to process it in a deeper level, so I knew what success looked like to me. So I just encourage you all to do that. But again, for the challenge, all you have to do is write your goal, write down the feeling that you want, and then tag an accountability partner. So anyways, thanks for joining today. I'm super excited because we're gonna launch week 2 coming up here. We'll be posting more of the times of when we're going to do them, and I promise I'm going to be more like on my I will be on Facebook Live tomorrow at 7 a.m. in case you were wondering. But we'll post more details, and we're going to hear a lot from the other amazing women this week, which I'm so excited about. So thanks for joining on live today. And I hope you're all being encouraged as we go through this journey. We've been so blessed to be doing this with you all. So thanks again for joining, and I'm so excited. I know, I'm sorry, Angela. I explained at the beginning of the video, babies and husbands' schedules just seem to get things mixed up sometimes. But anyways, I'm excited to hear all your goals and see the places that you're going. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. I hope you have some great time to carve out and just really focus in on your goals and the desires that you have that are already written on your heart that you're going after this year. So thanks, guys. Have a good Sunday.